Good afternoon. My name is Hans Gia. I am a general practitioner from the unit from Lægehuset in Denmark. I am also a member of Semergen, which is the National Spanish Association for General Practitioners in Spain. And I would like to talk about my telemedicine master project. It is called the Study and Evaluation of a Recommender System based on the capture and synthesis of electronic medical records using natural language and health ontologies belonging to the HOPE project orientated to primary care, with HOPES means Health Operation for Personalized Evidence. I would just like to mention something. We as general practitioners, we have it very difficult with our consultations, and this is because mostly we have between 5 to 7 minutes per patient, and moreover, we are multitasking, but also we have to be well trained on cardiology, pediatrics, gynecology, pneumology, emergencies, geriatrics. Also, administration, we have to make many papers. We have to fulfill some papers also for patients. And moreover, when we finish the consultations, we have to visit some older patients and some ill patients that cannot come to our consult. For that, it is very complicated to find a right thing that can help us save time without compromising our patients' diagnosis and treatment, especially in the rare cases or in the difficult ones. And that's why I think HOPE can help. HOPE was measured already in oncology, which is also part that we see. So that's why I would like to give a harder time to HOPE with measuring it with the general practitioners. Our main objective it is to evaluate the accuracy of HOPE with the recommendations based on actual clinical cases from primary care patients, evaluating the results in a personalized way. It means with a rater, a human evaluator, which will check each case. Also, the secondary objectives are to measure the degree of precision given by the search done by HOPE and to see if there is any possibility of improvement for the HOPE project. Yes, as an introduction, not so long time ago, medicine was based on what is called experience-based medicine. It means that the oldest doctor, the ones with the grayer hair, were the most smart, and we have to follow all what they say. Fortunately, in 1962, the Food and Drugs Administration, FDA, said that in order to a drug be legally distributed, has to be tested with clinical trials on human beings. And if this was not passing, it was not available, so they will not be sold. That was the start of the evidence-based medicine. Moreover, in 1991 was Guyat, who first described this term, evidence-based medicine, and he said that there has to be an association between medical evidence theory and practice. That's why the way to measure this, it is with evidence. It means with research, with publications. Fortunately, we have many information available in medicine. For example, we have PubMed. We have also clinical trials, which is something done by the United States National Library of Medicine. We have also Fistera. It's something more local. It is some kind of guidelines that are written to general practitioners in Spain, only in Spanish available. We have the famous UpToDate, which is world recognized of the most actual guideline in the world. We have Clinical Case and Science Direct, both of them published by Elsevier. And when we talk about patients, we have also Medline Plus. It is some kind of information only directed to patients. This is important because, for example, PubMed has more than 29 millions of articles in its database and has more than 3,000 papers per day added. Clinical trials, they have more than 290,000 papers, informations on that, and it is available from 260 countries. And when we talk to patients, Medline Plus has, for example, information over 1,000 diseases and conditions for patients. With this amount of information, how we can find the right one? Well, for that we have to use the help of technology in order to help us find the right information. And in order to do this, we have HOPE. HOPE is based on health ontologies, which is letting the computer understand the vocabulary that is written in the clinical record. But it is a natural language processing which will let the information to be understood and analyzed by the computer. They will understand what we wrote. So, like this, we will talk a little bit about hope, and it means the phases of that. First, of course, hope will make a communication with electronic medical records, and using the natural language processing and the health ontology, will be able to find which one are the right terms to look information for, and then we'll start the reliable information search in PubMed, for example. And once they found it, it will format in a way that we can understand and read it, and finally give our evaluation, what we think about that. Just a simple case: a patient comes to a consultation and he has a syndrome, a disease called RS3P. It is very difficult to find information about that. Probably not, but it is taking time, especially if we don't know what it means. So Hope will actually find by itself the mesh terms and then look for the right articles, which will be presented to the doctor, which will give the right treatment to the patient. In our project, we use this journal Semergen. We wrote the articles from this to the Hope interface, which will look for information in PubMed and MedLife Plus to patients. We didn't use clinical trials because we think it was a little bit more oriented to oncology and to new trials. It is not used in general practice. Which criteria we use? Well, first, all the information has to fulfill the Hope interface. It has to be written in Spanish, and it were the articles published in 2017. With this, we were trying to avoid the selection bias, and we found 31 cases, but one didn't have, for example, the age and the sex, the gender of the patient, so that's why it was not used. So finally, we used 30. Which, if you see the interface of Hope, we can see it has principally these 5 areas. The one in red, which is the age and gender; the green one, which shows where is the affected organ; the blue, which is the main diagnosis; and the purple, which is the journal written already there. The orange is the area which is coming with the mesh terms, as when Hope looks about the others, so it finds the right terms mesh to look in PubMed. Just a little thing, for example, there was one case about leishmania. It was skin leishmania. It was the main diagnosis. Hope started looking about leishmania, but the problem was that leishmania has 3 different, for example, operations. It has skin, it has mucocutaneous skin, or also can be internal organs. So that's why we decided also to measure the specificity, which means how many leishmania cases Hope found. Then we measure the sensibility, which means precisely how many about skin leishmania it found. And then we measure the precision, which we will be explaining it a little bit easier now. In order to get this precision, we talked to 2 doctors in Spain, which helped us. They read the cases, and they also said that if the recommendations by Hope were useful, and they wrote a T, which is true, and if they were not useful, of course, they wrote an F as false. We use this as a qualitative assessment of agreement between evaluators or raters in order to find the precision. For example, what's precision? We can see it here. Talking about leishmania, again, the first blue area. The first rater, for example, gives true to all the 5 presentations of Hope, while the second says only the 4 which is starting the 4 first. We can see were the right ones. The other was false. So once we set precision 3, it means, for example, for the first one, it will be 1, 1, 1. The first 3 ones over 3. So it means the precision was 1. Precision 3 for the second rater, it will be also 1 because it will be 3 over 3. Precision 4 for the first rater will be also 1. And for the other will be also 1 because it will be 4 over 4 in both cases. In precision 5 in the first rater, for example, will be also 1 because it will be 5 over 5. But however, in the second rater, it will be 4 over 5. So like that, we can see more or less which was the precision between them. This is, for example, the cases in PubMed which we were shown. We can see here also once we talk about a robust case. A robust case, it is a case where both of them were saying true, and the moderate case is taking more orientation about the false. You can see it here, more or less. It is it is the one show for PubMed for. The first one is for PubMed, and the other one is for Medline. You can see the media and the deviation also of the cases. We wanted also to establish some kind of agreement between the raters, and that's why we used the Kappa-Cohen interpretation. It helped us to measure if there was a good connection, bad, mild, regular, moderate, important, or almost perfect concordance between the raters. And we can see it, for example, in our results. When we talk about PubMed, we can see that the precision with the Kappa-Cohen, there was an important association because it was between 0.7. So it was very good, even in the moderate cases or in the robust cases, both of them. Moreover, we can see also that the Hope algorithm provides relevant information, relevant recommendation in the third, fourth, and fifth level recommendation with a precision level almost similar between the three assets. This changes a little bit in Medline. We will see it in a moment. You can see, for example, using the Kappa-Cohen coefficient, we can see it is not so bad, but also not so good. It is a regular association only found. And moreover, we can see here the difference between precision 1 and between 1, 2, and 3. It means that after the second level of recommendation, the information presented a little bit less concordance. There is some possibilities for that. We will talk in a moment about that. The good stuff what we found, for example, it is that in six cases of the 30 that we studied, Hope found the original paper. The information, they found the right paper where there was information coming from, and it's very interesting because it was nice to find that the case was written and the information found. The Hope found the right information from the article. With this, we can see that we reached our objectives. The main objective, we evaluate the accuracy of Hope, and also we measure the degree of precision given by Hope. What about the improvements for Hope? It was very interesting to find that even if we were using NLP on ontologies, it was very difficult for Hope to understand the negation terms. For example, when we talk about male without diabetes or women without hypertension or man that doesn't drink alcohol or smokes, for Hope it was understood that the male had diabetes, that the woman has hypertension, and the man was drinking and smoking. So that was making a little bit complication. However, it was very important that we can redefine mesh terms. So if it comes alcohol and we see no alcohol, so we can delete this mesh. It was good. And moreover, another stuff also could be very important. It is to precise the writing orientation. It means that if it is negative, we don't need to write it, for example. But the most interesting thing it was that when Hope didn't find, for example, that when we have too much information or too less information, simply didn't present any recommendation, which is very interesting because like that, a doctor cannot have a mislead of information for that. Our main conclusion it is that Hope it is really an important tool for primary care and also to patients. The results in Medline Plus maybe are a little bit discouraging, but it is because we think about the diversity of pathologies. We use many rare diseases. And moreover, we have also a little bit of problem with communication with the raters. We didn't establish a guidelines with examples to them. We didn't have too much time to that. I think that if we give some guidelines, for example, to the doctors which will use Hope, it will be easier to generate better results for that. And the most important also it is that, of course, we need to make a more exhaustive study to improve the precision using the methods based on ontologies, natural language processing, automatic learning, because it is really, really interesting. It has a very good potential for that. And just to finish in the last 30 seconds, I would like to thank you, my wife, my twins, my father, my mother, Carlo, Franco. Thank you very much for all your help. It was really amazing to work with all of you, and thank you for helping me with all this. And thank you very much, and that's all.